Caitlin Clark is the only woman in basketball to ever sign with Wilson Basketball, and she's the only athlete since Michael Jordan to do so.
If we're comparing a Caitlin Clark signature shoe release to anybody not named Michael Jordan, anybody not named LeBron James, you're being extremely disingenuous.
Basketball fans, you won't believe what just happened and how it's set to shake Nike's billion-dollar empire to its core. We're witnessing a massive shift that has Nike executives sweating bullets. Imagine being the biggest sports brand on the planet worth over $200 billion and locking in Caitlin Clark, hailed as the next Michael Jordan of women's basketball, on an 8-year, $28 million deal. A steal, right? You think you've secured the ultimate moneymaker for the next decade. But out of nowhere, Wilson, yes, Wilson, drops a commercial so powerful, so emotionally gripping, it's got Nike's entire marketing team questioning every decision they've ever made.
When you strip away the noise and the bright lights, it's just the game you loved as a kid.
And here's the kicker. They did it with basketballs, not shoes. But the ripple effect? It's about to change everything. Let's break down Nike's current nightmare. In recent years, the company has been in freefall, losing over $100 billion in value since 2021. It got so bad, people were calling for the CEO to be fired, and he eventually stepped down. While Adidas managed to thrive even after parting ways with Yeezy, Nike was drowning in self-inflicted chaos. Analysts predict an 11.5% drop in third-quarter revenue, down to $11 billion, the worst since their 38% pandemic-era plunge in 2020. Under John Donahoe, Nike tried an ambitious turnaround. But according to Morningstar's David Swartz, flashy new styles aren't going to cut it. They need to create a whole new product franchise, a process that could take years. Then came their golden ticket, Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-decade talent. Twice as recognizable as Angel Reese in college, 4 times more popular than any men's player, a marketing dream. Every brand was vying for her. Under Armour wanted her as the face of Curry brand. Adidas was ready to go all in. But Caitlin chose Nike, largely because of how they championed her during her college career. Fans were waiting for her signature shoe, the one that could redefine women's basketball. But here's where it gets wild. While everyone waited for Caitlin's big shoe reveal, Nike quietly announced that A'ja Wilson would get her signature shoe first. And hidden in that announcement, a detail that should infuriate every Nike shareholder, Caitlin Clark's signature shoe won't hit stores until 2026, maybe even 2027.
People were even speculating that. But today was the Nike quarterly call, putting to rest any rumors that A, this wasn't a done deal, and B, there are renegotiations at the table. Something that this did clear up as well, it's looking like Caitlin Clark's shoe was coming in 2026.
Are you kidding me? 2 to 3 years for a shoe? Let me tell you how ridiculous that is. Back in 2003, when LeBron James was the most sought-after recruit in basketball, Nike was so desperate to land him that they started designing his shoe before he even signed the deal. They used the codename Air Zoom Nobel, LeBron spelled backwards, to keep the project under wraps. And get this, LeBron was wearing his signature LeBron 1s in his NBA debut. That's right, just 3 months from concept to court.
If we're comparing a Caitlin Clark signature shoe release to anybody not named Michael Jordan, anybody not named LeBron James, you're being extremely disingenuous. Extremely disingenuous. We can't compare abnormality to normal behaviors. We can't compare the extreme case, the rarest of the rare case, to an average Joe Schmo walking down the street singing do I did it dum diddy do. We can't be doing that. We only compare Clark to Jordan, Clark to James, Clark to Tiger, Clark to Gretzky, Clark to Ali. That's it.
So, Nike went from a 3-month timeline to a 3-year timeline. Something is seriously off, and it's about to blow up in the most embarrassing way. When Caitlin Clark signed her deal, major outlets ran headlines questioning why people were upset about her getting a shoe. The controversy? Some fans felt A'ja Wilson deserved her signature shoe first, especially since Clark hadn't even played a WNBA game yet. But here's the reality. Business isn't about fairness. It's about profit. Allen Iverson outsold Tim Duncan in sneakers, even though Duncan was the better player. Nike tried giving Duncan signature shoes twice. Both failed and were scrapped. due to poor sales. Duncan didn't complain because he understood the business. But Aja Wilson isn't Tim Duncan. She's actively promoted by Nike, featured on billboards and in commercials. And here's where things get uncomfortable. She's made some controversial remarks about white players and privilege. While talking about Paige Buchers, she said her success was shaped by her privilege, adding, obviously she's good at basketball, like it was an afterthought.
Black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say it's not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball. But, like, she understands her privilege and like, what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you.
Caitlin Clark was left off the Team USA Olympic roster. The official reason? She hasn't earned it yet. But let's rewind. Christian Lettner had 0 NBA experience when he made the iconic 1992 Dream Team. Diana Taurasi was a WNBA rookie when she made the 2004 Olympic team, with stats very similar to Clark's. Yet now, in 2024, Caitlin Clark somehow isn't good enough. Then she hits the WNBA and immediately dominates, earning first-team All-WNBA honors, leading all rookies in nearly every category, placing 4th in MVP voting, and single-handedly transforming league viewership. Her games averaged over 1 million viewers, compared to the WNBA average of just 300,000. Tickets to her first playoff game cost more than every other playoff game combined. The Washington Mystics even had to move to the Wizards Arena to accommodate the crowds coming just to see her. She broke attendance records everywhere she went. Team USA later admitted leaving her off the roster was a mistake, but Nike, they're still frozen, too afraid to fully unleash the most marketable athlete they've got. Then Wilson dropped a commercial, and everything changed. This wasn't just any ad, it was a masterclass in emotional storytelling that instantly made Nike's recent campaigns look like amateur hour. The commercial opens with a message that hits you right in the heart. When you strip away the noise and the bright lights, it's just the game you loved as a kid. While Nike remains paralyzed by politics, Wilson captures the soul of basketball, why we fell in love with the game to begin with. The ad continues, feet on the hardwood, basketball in hand, guiding you, inspiring you, working on the player you dream to be, because the ball will always bring you back to your favorite place, calm, focused, and confident. That's not just marketing, that's pure genius. They're not selling shoes, they're selling nostalgia, dreams, the love of the game. And the face of that message? Caitlin Clark, the very player Nike is too hesitant to promote properly. But here's the dagger. Wilson made Caitlin Clark the only woman in basketball history to sign with them. The only athlete since Michael Jordan to hold a partnership of this magnitude. Let that sink in. Wilson just put Clark in the same conversation as MJ. The commercial closes with one perfect line, Caitlin, always basketball. A tagline so powerful it will haunt Nike's marketing team for years. While Nike worries about social media backlash, Wilson positions itself as the brand that truly loves the game. Even the basketballs themselves are statements. Wilson's team spent months researching Caitlin, her favorite color, her hobbies, even her social media and fashion choices. They treated her like the superstar she is. Nike treated her like a political liability. Christopher Rickert, Wilson's senior director of global production, said the team started with 50 designs, each carefully refined based on color, pattern, and feel. Some looked good on paper but didn't translate in real life. They kept perfecting until they got it right. And when the commercial launched alongside a brand new basketball line dropping June 23rd, the response was electric. Fans are calling it the best basketball commercial in years, praising Wilson for staying true to the sport and not getting lost in cultural noise.
From the sounds of this interview, it seems like she's probably going to make more money overseas in EuroLeague than she did during this WNBA season. The commissioner told her that she could make $700,000 playing in the WNBA.
Meanwhile, Nike's silence around their biggest women's basketball star is becoming deafening. As Wilson rolls out a flawless marketing campaign using Caitlin Clark and nothing but basketballs, Nike is stuck watching from the sidelines, too scared to tell the story they should be shouting from the rooftops. This is what happens when fear drives business decisions instead of talent and marketability. Nike signed Clark for $28 million over 8 years, an absolute bargain for someone who's already shifted the landscape of women's sports. But instead of capitalizing on that momentum, they're letting a basketball company steal the spotlight. The irony? It's brutal. Nike, the brand that built its empire on athletes who redefined culture, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, LeBron, James, is now sitting on a generational star and doing absolutely nothing. Caitlin Clark belongs in that same rare air, But Nike is too entangled in internal politics to see the gold mine they're sitting on. Meanwhile, Wilson understands the assignment. They aren't just creating basketballs with Clark, they're making a statement. One that says, we see the game, we see the greatness, and we're not afraid to celebrate it. What makes this even more devastating for Nike is how perfect Wilson's campaign truly is. It captures everything that makes Caitlin Clark special: her love for the game, her drive, her ability to inspire, without getting weighed down in social media drama or cultural controversy. The production value? Top tier. The message? Universal. The emotional pull? Unforgettable. When you watch the commercial, you're not thinking about politics. You're thinking about why you fell in love with basketball. This is the marketing Caitlin Clark deserves. And Nike completely missed the shot. The ad has already racked up millions of views and is being praised by both fans and branding experts as one of the best in years. Wilson just proved that when you focus on what matters, talent, authenticity, and a pure love for the game, everything else falls into place. And now, the game has changed. Nike's cautious, play-it-safe strategy has been exposed for what it is: cowardice. While they're busy trying not to offend, Wilson is out here making history. If Nike won't market their own athlete, you better believe someone else will. Wilson just fired the first shot, and it's a perfect bullseye. Nike better wake up, because while they manage politics, Wilson is managing greatness. And in sports, as in business, you either step up or get stepped on. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Nike blowing the biggest opportunity in women's basketball history, or can they recover before it's too late?